Be prepared to witness a historic milestone in global transportation. China and Russia have joined forces to create an awe-inspiring engineering masterpiece, a revolutionary $355 million train bridge that will bridge nations and change the way we travel forever. This incredible feat of collaboration promises to create a great shift in international trade, reducing delivery times and unlocking new opportunities for economic growth. So, get ready to embark on an unforgettable journey. The future of global transportation has arrived. The construction of a bridge to link the city of Moa in the Heilongjiang province of China with Zelinda in the Sakha Republic of Russia is currently underway. Building a physical link between the two areas is the project's goal because it will make it simpler to move people and goods across the border. Once finished, this bridge will be a significant landmark that represents the deepening of China and Russia's cultural and economic ties. The province of Sakha, also known as Yakutia, has the distinction of having the lowest population density of any province in Russia. Despite this, it boasts a wealth of natural resources, including coal, natural gas, timber, and iron ore. However, due to a lack of domestic demand, the province struggles to find markets for these resources. Currently, the province relies on the two countries' Pacific ports to export its commodities to China, which is the largest market. However, a direct rail link between Sakha and China would significantly reduce transportation cost and time by cutting around 2,000 kilometers from the existing routes. This new link would provide a boost to the economy of Sakha and strengthen its ties with China, while also improving the transportation of goods and people between the two regions. In September of last year, a memorandum of cooperation was signed at the Eastern Economic Forum to begin the construction of the bridge connecting the Chinese city of Moa with the Russian city of Zelinda. The Russian news agency TASS reported on this development. According to TASS, China is planning to invest in the development of Sakha's rail network with the aim of building an international corridor in the Russian Far East. The news agency reported that China intends to fund the project, which is expected to bring significant benefits to the region. The development of the rail network will provide a much-needed boost to the transportation infrastructure in the area, making it easier and more efficient to transport goods and people between China and Russia. This, in turn, is expected to promote economic growth and increase trade between the two countries. Moreover, Asen Nikolaev, the head of the Sakha Republic, expressed his enthusiasm for the project, noting that it would greatly benefit the region by increasing the capacity of the Eastern Railway to export goods from South Yakutia. Specifically, he predicted that the new bridge would allow for up to 10 million tons of exports per year. He also emphasized that the project's benefits would extend beyond economic gains, as the absence of transshipment in the transportation chain would have a positive impact on the ecology of Yakutia. In the midst of Russia-Ukraine conflict, by constructing an international corridor in the Russian Far East, China is demonstrating its commitment to building stronger ties with Russia and investing in the development of the region. China is both Russia's and Ukraine's largest trading partner. The Russian-Ukrainian conflict has a relatively small direct impact on China in terms of total trade volume. Only 0.2% of China's overall foreign trade is conducted bilaterally with Ukraine, compared to 2.3% with Russia. However, China is heavily dependent on Russia and Ukraine for a few key commodities in the energy, agricultural, and mining sectors. Chinese leadership reportedly gave NDRC instructions to encourage state-owned companies to look for alternative sources of imports of grains, iron ore, and energy soon after the war started in order to make up for any potential drop in supplies from the two countries in conflict. Moreover, China's energy needs are largely met by importing petrol and oil. In 2021, imports accounted for 45% of China's natural gas consumption, as well as 72% of its crude oil consumption. China is the largest grain importer in the world, but only to a lesser extent, 19.4%. Indirect effects of the war on China's economy are visible in the rising cost of raw materials for Chinese businesses, which increased inflationary pressure on the Chinese economy in addition to the direct efforts on bilateral trade. Additionally, the war in Ukraine, China's trade dispute with the U.S. over technology, and domestic COVID lockdown measures have been the three main factors impeding China's economic growth this year. These issues could have a significant impact on employment and social stability. Thus, this megaproject is seen as a positive step towards creating a more connected and prosperous Asia-Pacific region. The enhancement of transportation of both goods and people between China and Russia is highly anticipated to have a momentous and favorable impact on the region. While the project's commencement date is yet to be confirmed, it is expected to be a significant step forward in strengthening the economic bonds between the two nations. With the development of efficient transportation infrastructure, businesses in both countries can expect to see a surge in trading activities, leading to economic growth and prosperity. Moreover, it is likely to improve people-to-people ties, facilitating cultural exchanges and promoting tourism, which will further boost the region's socio-economic growth. Therefore, the implementation of this transportation project is a vital step forward in advancing the bilateral relationship between China and Russia, which will undoubtedly benefit the region in numerous ways. Also, in the last year, rail freight between Russia and China saw a significant increase of 28%, reaching a record of 123 million tons. This was mainly due to a doubling of Russian exports of liquid petroleum gas, which contributed to the growth of trade between the two countries. The rail freight was carried out through the Baikal-Amur and Trans-Siberian railways, which have become major transport routes for cross-border trade. The increasing trade between Russia and China has also contributed to the growth of the region's economy. In 2020, the total trade between Russia and China was worth $190 billion, representing a 20% increase from the previous year. This upward trend in trade is expected to continue in the coming years, as both countries work to further strengthen their economic ties and improve the efficiency of their transport infrastructure. For a continuous 12 years, China has been Russia's largest trading partner. In 2021, bilateral trade volume totaled $146.7 billion, with China having a $12 billion trade deficit. However, China's imports from Russia accounted for 22.73% of its total fertilizer imports, 18.75% of nickel and related products, 18.38% of wood and wood products, and 12.48% of mineral fuels and mineral oil. China's trade volume with Russia is only about 1/10 of China's combined trade with the US and EU. Most importantly, China imports a significant amounts of energy from Russia. Also, more than 70% of China's imports from Russia were energy and mineral products. Russia is China's largest energy and electricity supplier, as well as its second and third largest sources of crude oil and coal, respectively, after Saudi Arabia and Indonesia. Since it started to formally restrict coal imports from Australia, China has increased its imports of coal from Russia. For China's import of oil, Russia is particularly significant. China's Strategic Petroleum Reserve, SPR, is currently estimated to be 220 million barrels, or 15 days' worth of consumption. China may have enough for 60 days if commercial storage and oil company inventories are included. The International Energy Agency recommends that nations maintain reserves for 90 days, which is still far below reality. This revolutionary bridge will also contribute a lot in this regard. When completed, the railway will become the second rail bridge connecting China and Russia. Nonetheless, the first rail bridge between China and Russia is the Tongjiang Bridge, which is a box girder structure spanning 7,194 meters. It is located about 1,300 kilometers east of Moa and crosses the Amur River. The construction of this bridge took 7 years to complete. The Tongjiang Bridge has already had a significant impact on trade between the two countries, as it has cut approximately 700 kilometers off the existing trade routes. This has resulted in improved efficiency and cost savings for businesses involved in cross-border trade. The success of the Tongjiang Bridge is expected to be replicated with the construction of the new rail route through Sakha, which will further strengthen the economic ties between China and Russia, as this will further facilitate the transportation of goods and people between the two countries, and is expected to promote economic growth and trade. Overall, the project is seen as a tremendous positive step towards building a more connected and prosperous Asia-Pacific region.